Hello, dear friends. Here we are, the Medium's Harvest. What a joy. It's day 8 of a 90-day journey. We rely upon the book Seara dos Médiuns, the Medium's Harvest, by the spirit author Emmanuel, the mentor of Xavier, the renowned medium who left a legacy of love and knowledge for us. And the book The Medium's Harvest was first published in Portuguese in 1961 in Brazil by the Brazilian Spiritist Federation. And it finally comes to English. Can you believe it? It's only now when it's coming about in English. But what a joy. And we are very thankful to the efforts of the Inner Enlightenment Spiritist Society and the team of practitioners, translators, who have been teaming up to make available the first third of the book. The second 2/3 is being translated by the Spiritist Society of Virginia, which, by the way, turned 10 years and celebrates its 10th anniversary this Sunday, December the 3rd. And you're welcome to join us. Come here to Virginia, Northern Virginia, like 25 miles from Washington, D.C., and enjoy a most therapeutic moment with us here. And friends from other lands as well, okay? It's Be Inspired, Thought is Life. Today, remember yesterday, chapter 7, we were studying about companions. Kardec laid out in the Medium's book, item 28, 4 types of spiritists. The experimental spiritists, or the ones that believe in spirit phenomena, spirit mediumship, but for them it doesn't change their lives. Imperfect spiritists, who are they? Well, it doesn't matter. We're not here to judge, and not even to judge ourselves, but to evaluate. And Emmanuel had a checklist. Imperfect spiritists, basically, they absorb, they believe in all the maxims told by the spirits, but they don't have an easy time applying it. Finally, the third type, the true spiritists, the Christian spiritists. And why Christian? Christian in the sense of followers of the Christ consciousness. For them, the spiritist teachings are so profound that it's inevitable to change their lives. And the fourth type, he didn't discuss it yesterday. Emmanuel discussed it today in the Medium's Harvest, chapter 8. The fanatical spiritists. What are they? You want to know? Me too. He titles the development of that item in Kardec's item 28 of the Medium's book, Higher Knowledge. It was a meeting on January 29th in 1960 when Xavier and his mediumistic group were studying the Medium's book, and later in the practice, Emmanuel brought this message. It was an open meeting. And what does Emmanuel say? Few are a medium, and a spiritist medium, or if you wanna work on mediumship according to spiritism, or if you're interested in knowing more about it because of loved ones or just because of life in general, this knowledge is very interesting. It's titled Higher Knowledge. What is it? Emmanuel says, let us listen to Emmanuel. I'm reading the translation firsthand to you. It's the first time that this comes to English in the worldwide way, because Kardec Radio is broadcasting worldwide. Higher knowledge. In the acquisition of higher knowledge, do not believe that fascinating wonders can be a substitute for hard work. Nor trust that your spiritual benefactor, vivacious as he may be, would perform the work which is assigned to you. The teacher clarifies, but it is the student who must solve the problems presented in school. The doctor assists. It is the patient, however, who must follow the instructions. Every achievement demands effort. Every construction demands time. Notice a pruned tree which has made itself priceless. Okay, we're turning up the volume here for those who are asking us about it. Notice a pruned tree which has made itself priceless. It is a monument to beauty and vitality. Great roots guarantee its existence. A robust trunk resists the forces of the wind. Branches grow enormous, helping those who pass by. Flowers bloom, defying students of geometry and or painting. Fruits appear, rich in nutritious juice. Fibers and leaves, sap and aroma, complete its respectability and greatness. Let us remember, however, that these prodigy, which sometimes grows to weight hundreds or thousands of pounds, was once contained in a small seed of only a few grams. On the other hand, if someone had not cultivated this tiny seed, dedicating attention and work to it over the course of time, the magnificent tree would not have been able to establish itself, becoming firm in maturity and cooperation. So, thank the generous and tender spirits, whether incarnate or discarnate, who help you through life, applying yourself to the lessons they bring. Never think, however, that their appearance is enough to ascertain your spiritual evolution. Remember that not even the companions of the glorious Christ escaped the need for constant service. The apostles who breathed the same air as he did not rest before Pentecostal flames, but rather continued to struggle forward from sacrifice to sacrifice, acquiring little by little the great liberation. Moreover, Saul of Tarsus, visited by the Master himself in person, did not stop under torrents of sunlight on the road to Damascus. Rather, he went on from torment to torment, assimilating at the price of suffering the gift of the divine light. Very interesting. Emmanuel writes a dissertation inspired on the fact that on the fact that there are spiritists who think they have higher knowledge, they have higher connections, and they disregard others, which is contrary to the teachings. Because the more we know, the more we feel closer to people. The more we know, the more we feel closer, especially to the ones who are astray. Because this message came to help the sick. The fanatical spiritists are the fundamentalist spiritists, if I may say in modern words. They believe that they are superior to others. They believe they have higher connections, incarnated, discarnated. They believe that positions in the works of Spiritism matter. They believe in Spiritist curriculum. And that does not exist. Remember, if you were with us, the book Voltei. I came back. 21 days of Spiritist awareness. It was about spiritual awakening. It was about Brother Jacob, who was once Frederico Figner. He was a director and a very influential spiritist in the Brazilian Spiritist Federation and in Brazil. One of the pioneers. Also an immigrant. He discarnated believing that he had it all. And he was surprised to see his condition. It was not terrible, but it was not at the level that he expected. This is what Emmanuel is telling us. First question. He writes it out almost in the form of a question. In the acquisition of higher knowledge, do not believe that fascinating wonders can be a substitute for hard work. Okay, pause. Why is Emmanuel talking about higher knowledge when we are talking about the Spiritist practice? What is one of the reasons why we participate in Spiritist meetings? To achieve higher knowledge. Many people don't have that awareness. They go, I don't know, I came here because my husband asked me to come, my wife asked me to come because life is hard. I don't know, I just came here. But you came here for an answer. Yes, we could call it higher knowledge. Higher than what we know. Higher than what we know. He begins it with a comparison. He's comparing what we already know to what Spiritism can bring to us. And of course, Spiritism, in its name, it's the study of what the spirits are telling us. So if I connect with them to achieve this higher knowledge, now he's talking to us. Do not believe that simply by communicating with spirits, we're gonna be exempt of our hard work. But what hard work is? Well, Vanessa, I work so hard. What do you mean? I work 60 hours a week. You mean on yourself? No, at work. No, that's not what we're talking about. The hard work that Emmanuel is talking about is the inner. You know it. I'm just kidding here. But you know, I know. It's the inner. It's that inner work. It's almost like our heart and our brain are like clay, Play-Doh. And we are working on it, sculpting it. Sculpting our emotions, edifying our emotions. For example, let's be practical. I go to a mediumistic meeting. And obsessors of people who come and ask for help or obsessors in general that are brought in by the superior spirits, because they are the ones who plan the meeting, not us. We don't make a list of which discarnate spirits are going to come to this meeting. I cannot guarantee, oh, come to this meeting, Dr. Bezerra will certainly be there. How do you know? Divaldo is going to be there. But what if that day, Bezerra de Menezes has an assignment elsewhere? They're not attached to one another. The same for Joana de Angelis. The same for any spirit. We cannot, and that's why Divaldo Franco is a wonderful medium too. He never promised, come to these meetings and Dr. Bezerra is going to be there, Joana de Angelis is going to be there. Imagine if the flyer was written. See Divaldo, he's going to talk about this, and Dr. Bezerra is going to be there, Joana de Angelis, etc. That doesn't exist. But let's say we are in this meeting, mediumistic meeting, and an obsessor comes, and this obsessor tells, I don't forgive that person. And the counselor says, why not? Because that person disrupted my family, destroyed my marriage, and in that life. And we're saying, these are true accounts. And then I go home and I think, yeah, this spirit has to forgive. But then we have the hard work inside of us. Do I forgive? Because I know people who separated, who divorced, and became friends. But then we know they married and their spouses created dissension. More important than marriage is respect and friendship, soul to soul. It's not important to die married in paper, but separated in soul. And if we dare to separate people out of jealousy, out of lack of respect, we're creating karma. So how can I sit at a mediumistic meeting and be either the medium or a spirit counselor, vibrating that these spirits that are obsessors, they forgive if I am the obsessor of the husband and the wife, of the ex-husband or the ex-wife of my partner? It doesn't match. So I need to work hard on my feelings. That's sculpting the feelings. That's the Christ consciousness. Yesterday we probably mentioned to you that there is a new book that was published by the Brazilian Spiritist Federation just a few years ago. But it's almost like it's a gem. Of all books I've read, novel-like, this is quite different. It was written by Dr. Bezerra de Menezes when he was incarnated under the pseudonym of Max. He didn't publish it in a book format. He published in chapters, in years of the Spiritist magazine, O Reformador. Finally, in the year 2011, the Brazilian Spiritist Federation rescues the work and publishes the novel Evangelho do Futuro, the Gospel of the Future. I recommend it to you for several reasons, but one of them because it gives us the example of what it is to be a true spiritist, to do this hard work that Emmanuel is talking about. So again, the book is Evangelho do Futuro. If you read Portuguese, if you don't, we pray that soon we can get a hold of the English translation and share with you at Kardec Radio, okay? But for now, fascinating as it is, Dr. Bezerra de Menezes talks about several families, but amongst them an American father who is quite wealthy, Dr. Caper. He became a spiritist in the 19th century. And in a mission, medical mission in Brazil, he actually shared the teachings of Spiritism with Brazilians. And in a beautiful novel, Dr. Bezerra de Menezes shows to us what it is to be a true Spiritist. To do this hard work. To forgive the offenses. To be a peacemaker. Talking about peacemaking on December 9th and 10th in Atlanta, Georgia. The Alabama Spiritist group and one of the groups in Atlanta, Georgia is organizing the fraternal meeting, and the title is Blessed Are the Peacemakers. So if you want to join, it's going to be beautiful, okay? But hard work. Be a peacemaker against all odds. When people don't believe you should forgive, but you say, you know what? Why not? Who can guarantee that I wouldn't do even worse in the case of this person? Who could guarantee that in a previous life I didn't do even worse? How can I dare to avenge? How can I dare to persecute? Right? Right, Raquel. Sculpting one's emotions is a very helpful imagery. Thank you, Raquel, for pointing that out. So Emmanuel says, do not believe the fascinating wonders can substitute hard work. And we know many mediums around the world, spiritists and non-spiritists, who feel that the phenomenon in itself suffices. Oh, there is healing. So, what's the big deal? Oh, who heals? God heals. I don't heal anything. Right? Right, Rafael Medeiros, our friend from North Carolina. He's going to be there as well. Right, Rafael? With the fraternal meeting in Georgia. Feel free, Rafael, to share the link right here on Facebook so people can click on it and get a hold of it, okay? Those fraternal meetings in the U.S. I've come to know since day one, 13 years ago, as far as I can count. And, you know, wherever I go, Massachusetts, North Carolina, and now in Atlanta, people are heart people. Yeah, that's all I can say. Nor trust that your spiritual benefactor would perform the work that is assigned to you. So he gives the example of Jesus. Even though Jesus was constantly there with Peter, Judas, John, and James, they had to do their part. Have you ever heard Peter stopped fishing because Jesus invited him to the College of Apostles? From there on, Jesus was making miracles every day, and Peter became rich. He didn't need to be a fisherman anymore. They were healing during the night. During the day, they didn't need to fish. They were resting. Have you heard of that story? Never. Why? Because superior spirits don't come to prevent us from growing. Good parents and good educators, they may be supportive, but they are not there to do our homework, are they? Not the good parents. I know parents who are not well aligned with their mission, we would say this way, and they do the homework for their children. They forget that if you open the button of rose, you're going to destroy it. If I try to enforce the maturity of the caterpillar in the cocoon to turn into a butterfly, and I open the cocoon, let me help this butterfly. The butterfly is not going to be formed through the efforts of opening up the cocoon and making the wings strong. In nature, we haven't heard of cases of chicken opening the eggs to facilitate the coming out of the chicks. Why do parents think of facilitating the needed efforts of their children? They need to make efforts. They need to grow stronger in their emotional muscles, especially emotional. Mom, I don't want to go to school. I want to be with you. I agree. It's nice to be with the ones we love. But we need to bring this love to our friends, to our companions, to our teachers. Because Jesus counts on you to bring that light. I am light. I am light. Yes, it's not easy. And then we go home like, no. But that child is a child of God, first and foremost. And we need to do our part. Empower them and not do their part. The teacher clarifies, but the student must solve the problems. You see how Emmanuel is a wonderful educator? No, the teacher doesn't solve the problems. The doctor assists, but the patient needs to comply with the prescriptions and instructions. How many people I know, they go to the doctors prescribe, they say, take this every hour for 6 days, and they are like, how was the meeting with the physician? Good. And then, well, they gave me this medication, but I'm not so sure. The doctor cannot take the pills for you. They cannot come to your house and, make you swallow the pill. It's our part to follow the instruction. It's a must, Emmanuel says. It's a duty. Talking about duty. That is one of the 12 central virtues that we'll find in the Gospel according to Spiritism by Kardec. They have dissertations of the spirits talking about duty. And what is your duty? What is my duty to God? To improve myself. What is the duty of the student that goes to school? To learn more. What is our duty before God in this universe? To improve ourselves. To be wiser. To be more experienced. For the better. Because there are experiences and experiences, we know. So that's a good question for us. And that's why let us listen to these 2 sentences that really bring to us everything that we need. Every achievement demands effort. Every construction demands time. Time and effort. Now go to the book Evolution into Worlds by André Luiz. André Luiz talking about the evolution of the spirit throughout, from its creation to the human kingdom and then the perspectives to the angelic kingdom. He says in 40 chapters, 2 parts, he says, we evolve through learning. And learning requires effort and repetition. To repeat, we need the help of time. We cannot repeat if time does not allow. At the end of the day, André Luiz and Emmanuel are telling the same. To achieve higher levels and acquire higher knowledge, we need effort and time to repeat the lesson. How can I build a house without repeating the blocks and making effort? How can I achieve anything without making an effort? So if you and I are asking, and people ask this question, Vanessa, how is Spiritism doing in the US? Fantastic. How is it doing in the world? Wonderful. But how come people don't know more of it? Well, don't worry, people are coming to know. It takes time. Time. Construction takes time. But not only that, it takes effort. Whose effort? Effort. An effort in two realms. The experimenters and ours. When he talks about ours, Emmanuel says, in an analogy, observe a tree. The tree is there. Everything is beautiful. But before it was there, somebody believed that one seed can make a beautiful tree grow. Recently, I was in Brazil, and I saw, tropical trees. And somebody kindly said, oh, I'm going to take some of these seeds and make it grow. And you look at the seed of some of these fruits, like jabuticaba, for those who know. I don't know the name in English. I forgot. Somebody told me I forgot. Forgive me, please. But it's like a black, round fruit. And it's an enormous tree. When you look at the seed, you cannot believe that that seed had the potential of that majesty. So the question for us is, do you believe in the potential of the seed of Spiritism? Some people don't do the works because they want the tree already planted, big, fruitful. They don't want to plant. They don't want to cultivate. They don't want to take care of it throughout time because they believe they are alone. But in life, we are never alone. Oh, microphone. Don't move away. We're never alone. Never, ever alone, are we? So, whatever we need to do in our lives, including the mediumistic practice, some people look at Chico Xavier and they're like the beautiful, fruitful tree of mediumship. They look at the greatness of it all. They're like, I'm never going to be like this. But do you think Chico Xavier got to that level overnight? In one life? Nothing in nature would explain how somebody would be like that in one life. We know, according to the studies, that Chico Xavier had been medium for lives, even way before. I'm not even going to say, I'm not going to enter the study of his life, but we know of accounts that he was a medium for lives. That makes sense to me. That makes sense to us. So Emmanuel wraps up this third part of this beautiful chapter saying, we should be thankful to the spirits that teach us new knowledge, higher knowledge, but never think that their presence is enough for our spiritual evolution. And that's the mistake. Some people get close. Some people tell me, I met Chico Xavier, and I was that close. Okay, beautiful. But that doesn't make us different. Look at history. Emmanuel tells us that Stephen, Jeziel, right? The name of Jeziel, in the book Paul and Stephen. He didn't meet Jesus incarnated on that life. He didn't. But he became the pathway through which we've got Paul of Tarsus. Paul of Tarsus didn't meet, when he was Saul, Jesus incarnated. but he became Paul. And thanks to him, we're here. So it doesn't matter if you're friends with Haroldo Dutra Dias or not, Professor Euripides Barçanufo or not, Joana de Angelis or not. It doesn't matter. That doesn't make us better by itself. If our spirit mentor is, of course, our spirit mentors are always more evolved than us, but if they are very much more evolved than the average spirit on the earth, that in itself does not make us more evolved. We still need, as he says, like the companions of the glory of Christ, they needed to constantly work and serve. And sometimes, and if not always, in the light of sacrifice, suffering, like Paul of Tarsus. It was not the light of Jesus that he saw in Damascus that was the main highlight of his life. It was what he did later. When we got to know of Spiritism, that divides our lives in two. But the question is, what are we doing with this now? Every achievement demands effort. Every construction demands time. Friends, this is it for this chapter. Let me say hi to the community, answer to some questions, and then we're going to share with you the teaser of our chapter tomorrow, chapter 9. We're entering little by little in the dynamics of a mediumistic meeting. Those are pillar concepts, so we can enter the medium's harvest with safety and wisdom. Okay? So here we have our dear Seisa. Big hug, Seisa. Christmas is coming up. And the joy, joy to the world. The Lord is come. What a season. Andrea Torres, how are you? Sweet and dear sister. Pérola Bronze, how are you? Beautiful Adilson, how are you? Teresa Castro. Sol Souza, how are you? Our friend Rafael Medeiros. Lisa Teles, how are you? Raquel Young, how are you? Sarita. Carol and Mark Smith, how are you? And Sarita Rods, how are you? And she's asking a question here. Do you believe there are many demons around poisoning people? Do you think the Antichrist is already here? Sarita, in Spiritism, thank you for asking this, but if you read the Medium's book, the Heaven and Hell book by Kardec, in the first part of it, there is a chapter titled Demons. And we're going to learn that demons they don't exist. We're imperfect spirits. And they're not necessarily to poison people, but there are spirits of every category, more evolved, less evolved. The problem, Sarita, as you may know, is when we are the ones creating toxicity for others with our thoughts and feelings. And that's why Emmanuel, in the book Thought and Life, recommends to us, focus on the good. Seek the good everywhere. And there are messages by the higher spirits, Dias da Cruz, a spirit doctor, through Chico Xavier, in a book that we are yet to study here, Instruções Psicofônicas, Psychophonic Instructions. That spirit doctor, who was friends, contemporary of Dr. Bezerra de Menezes, he writes a message talking about the fact that obsessors, They're almost like viruses. And viruses, they have a function to make us stronger. Our immune system gets stronger when we face that threat because we create more protection. And we have a relationship with those spirits. We're all, at the end of the day, brothers and sisters. So Spiritism teaches us to see all spirits from the perspective of fraternity and brotherhood. Okay? And the Antichrist, of course it exists, which is a mentality. The mentality of those, I'll never forget when Divaldo Franco told me, the worst type of the worst type of spirits that are obsessing humanity are the ones that are against the Christ consciousness. They exist, but goodness prevails. Sarita is saying, I ask because there's too many crazy things. You're right. But you know, focus on the good. At the same time, Sarita, there's so many beautiful things happening. You're right. It's a challenging time. And Jesus was kind enough to foresee to us and predict this time would happen when good and bad would be as strong as the other on earth. But it's so evident that we cannot mistake it anymore. What is good is good. What is bad is bad. Right? Thank you for asking, Sarita. And for those who are with us and have entered, and I have not said your name, forgive. I need to write to Mark Zuckerberg and see what's happening here. But Rihanna is here with us, I can see. Rihanna, beautiful Rihanna. Angelita, Fraternity Without Borders. We're all here together on this. Louise, José Odilon. Thank you, friends, for being with us. And what's going to happen tomorrow? In the Medium's Harvest, you see that little by little Emmanuel is laying out principles to build a solid mediumistic group, a solid mediumistic attitude, okay? And tomorrow, when we come back, God willing, Chapter 9, in the doctrinal camp. Oof, mamma mia, what is he gonna say? Above all things, he says, the truth is, we cannot avoid that our brothers and sisters enmesh themselves in dangerous and lamentable situations. What does he say? Is it enough for us to come back? Yes, because this is the higher knowledge that is changing our lives as we feel it, not as we speak, as we feel it. So friends, keep this in mind. Every achievement demands effort. Every construction demands time. Let's work on it and believe in the divine seed in us and in everyone around. Right, Sarita? A kiss and a hug. And until tomorrow, God willing.